Oh, right then. Let's get into this then. It's been a while. So what is the day today? It is it is 7:15, and it is Tuesday the 22nd of October. So it's been a while since we did the Ironman event. Been busy, back at work, back coaching. We've redecorated the gym over the last couple of weeks, and just kind of getting back into a routine. Nursing some niggles, which we'll come to. But this is the summary of Ironman 2024. This is the finishers medal. So yeah, it was an amazing day. I thought what I'd do is there's so much that I've been thinking about regarding the event that I keep bits of it still keep coming back to me, and it's just an incredible experience to sort of reminisce about. So I think what I'll do is I'll start from the morning of the event and just take you through the whole day from what I can remember. So again, it's a while ago. It was almost, well, I think it was a month ago actually. It's a month ago on this day. So yeah, let's go for it. So we had a really good build up that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So obviously you've seen the video previously to this one, which was the carb loading and just the Airbnb bits and pieces. And then obviously the morning of that, obviously went to bed about 8:30, 8:45. Slept awful, absolutely slept like shit. I think I had like 4 or 5 hours sleep or something like that. It wasn't the best, and I knew I wasn't going to probably get the best sleep just through being anxious and excited and looking forward to it all, and obviously a bit overwhelmed. So I just tried to get the best sleep I could manage. So I had a nice calm rest before I sort of dropped off to sleep. A bit disturbed in the evening. The 3 days before the event on Sunday, I was nursing an Achilles injury, which is still not quite right, and it was really tender. That 3 days, I was really worried about it, and I woke up on Sunday with no pain, no feeling in it, which was a great thing, and it was just like my body has just been prepared. I woke up on the Sunday morning about 4:15 in the morning, and yeah, it was just. I felt ready. It was amazing. Like, felt really fueled up, really good. Everything was packed, ready in the bags, and obviously that I'd already took down to the transition zone. And yeah, so we got up, had some breakfast. Me and Carly went down. Parking, just for a heads up, if you're going there this year or in future years, parking was busy, so you have to get there early for parking. We parked at the car park, which is just down the hill from where the bike course starts, at the bottom of the village or the town. There's a car park down there, so we parked there. Now my biggest fear was needing the toilet, so I made sure I went to the toilet in the morning before I left the Airbnb, and then when we parked the car, it was busy. The car parks are rammed, it's heaving. Everyone's sort of walking up towards the transition zone, which I think opens about 5:30. We were late leaving the Airbnb a little bit, and we got lost in the car on the way there, just through trying to find a car park space. But yeah, needed the toilet when I got to the car park, so queued for a little bit in the toilet, did what I needed to do, and then went up to transition zone. And I only had about 15-20 minutes, so I would definitely advise, if you're going there this year, to leave plenty of time to check your bike, do your tyres, top your drinks up or whatever. That 15 minutes was okay for me, but I just felt a little bit rushed. There was someone who doesn't like feeling rushed. I like having like a bit of calm, a bit of organisation before going down to do anything there. So yeah, had a 15 minutes, checked my tyres, all good, topped my drinks up, fine. Did that in the Airbnb, so what I had to do is just put them in the drinks holders and my bike. I was holding 3 drinks, and I went to the transition where the bags are kept, and then did the same thing, topped my water up in the bottles, got things ready to go. Got changed. You're already in your wetsuit when you get to that transition zone, or they advise being in your wetsuit, so you haven't got to faff about changing. That's definitely the right thing to do. I got chatting to a guy who was next to me actually, and I was asking him about where to put the shoes in the pink bag. Do I take a spare pair of shoes? He said no, just wear your running shoes that you're going to run back to the bike in, and you'll be fine. So that was what I did. I took a spare set of glasses, obviously, because I can't see anything otherwise. And I got chatting to him, and I said, "Is this your first time?" He said, "No, this is my 40th Ironman." I was like, have you got any advice? And he was like, just have an incredible day and then just soak it up and enjoy it. And he was so right. He was so right. Why is it so emotional a month later? Jeez. Did not think this was going to happen. So yeah, Tenby's buzzing. From 6 in the morning when you get there, the streets are heaving and you can just feel this atmosphere. It's just intense and it's just you just soak it up, man. Soak it up. Just make sure you're there with your family, your friends or whatever, and people you care about. But even if like you're there on your own or whatever, it's just there's so many people there that are cheering straight away. There's this atmosphere. It's just incredible. Like when you're walking down to the beach. I was one of the last ones to get down to the beach, so I was right at the back. But it was great because you could just soak up the atmosphere, look around, you'd see a sea of people in their wetsuits with their red and green hats. And there's this like intense, like built up adrenaline atmosphere. I can't quite describe it. You've got to be there seeing it and probably in it to feel it. So you kind of take this stroll down to the beach. You put your red bag, your pink bag on the your numbered peg, take your shoes off, get yourself ready, get your goggles and hats and earplugs and bits and pieces in. Quick little shower, this is a shower as you're walking down that zigzag towards the beach. And then you just feel like a gladiator, it's how I can describe it. You feel like a gladiator in a coliseum because obviously you're on the beach and the spectators are obviously on the beach as well, but everyone's above you, so they're just looking down on you and you just feel like you're going to war. It's just an incredible feeling. And they play this incredible version of the Final Countdown. It's like an eerie rock version, and that's straight on the playlist. That was amazing, and I was getting tingles, goosebumps when that was playing. They played the Welsh national anthem. Fireworks are popping off. Everyone's cheering. Horns and whistles are blowing, and it's just you just feel this like surge of like energy, and it's nerve-wracking. I looked at my watch, and my heart rate was like 120, and I was just stood still. So I was just trying to do some breathing. Be calm. There's people, if you're ready for the swim, there's people with placards where you can kind of self-time your swim. So if you know you're going to be on about an hour 15 or an hour 10 or an hour 30 or whatever, you can go and stand near that section, and then you just kind of, as the time comes, you just kind of, every 15 seconds there's just a new heat of people going in. Now this day, the conditions were horrendous. The sea was really choppy, I'd never sea swam. I tried it on the Friday night when we got there, and I was surprised how difficult it was. So I was prepared going into that Sunday morning swim for it to feel difficult, but it was just way worse than I expected. I'm a confident swimmer. I've swam competitively for years in a pool. I say never sea swam, but I think just the energy and the adrenaline probably helps kind of mask that nervousness. But I say it was horrendous. It was a really choppy swim. You swim out to the pier section, and you were just swimming into waves, trying to sight and sort of look up. You just couldn't see anything because it was just a wave that was just hitting you, getting a mouthful of seawater, and there was no let up in it. It was just constant for an hour or so. So the hardest part of the swim for me, the actual swim was fine. I think apart from the conditions, that was the hardest part. The choppiness of the sea and navigating through a bunch of bodies. There's 2,500 people in the sea, and you just try and navigate, try and get round. My tactic was to just get in the water, go to the outside or on the inside, and just head to the colour. I have trouble seeing. There's no prescription goggles, so I struggle to see anyway. It was quite a dark morning. I have mirror goggles on, which makes it obviously a darker, inside your lens. But yeah, try and navigate through the people and just navigate the waves was the hardest part. The sea swim for me was okay. My goal was to come out of that sea swim at about an hour 15, which I did bang on, an hour 15. And the goal was to not feel battered and not feel like my heart rate's jacked up and that sort of thing. So that was good. You do 2 laps in the swim, so there's like 2 triangles in the swim. So you jump in, you kind of swim out, you go across sort of a big stretch, and then you come back in again. The hardest thing was you think you're going in a straight line, and it's sort of like taking you out a little bit, and you have no idea of how fast you go because you can't see anything. And you're obviously just being chucked about by the waves. So that was the hardest part. The thing I just told myself was just keep moving, at a pace that feels comfortable, and just keep going. That was my thought process. When you get to the first lap, you jump out, you come out onto the sand again, you walk out. I check my heart rate on my watch, check my time, see if I'm on track for what I was trying to get, see how my body's feeling, and yeah, back in again. So second loop. The second loop didn't feel too bad because everyone's spread out a little bit. And I think on the swim, there was 2,500 people that started the event on the day. And I think 200 to 400 people got pulled out of the swim, either for not making the time cap or sickness, panicking. So if you're not used to sea swimming, definitely do that. Even if you're a confident swimmer, I was confident, but even there was bits where you kind of feel a bit uneasy in there. So hats off to anyone who was not a confident swimmer who got through that, because it was brutal. So swim happened. I did an hour 15, which was bang on my target time, so I was really chuffed with that. And I jumped out, went and got my pink bag, and then I took my time just kind of getting my shoes on, put my glasses on, putting everything in my, I took my wetsuit down to halfway. Actually, I took my wetsuit off and then put it over me like a towel, and then just ran with that. I didn't feel comfortable running with my wetsuit, really, running in my wetsuit. I'd rather take it off when it's wet, and then you can just have it on you. So that's what I did. I was really nervous about going from the end of the swim running to the bike. That was my first run in 5 or 6 weeks before the day. I hadn't ran. This left Achilles was still tender, and I was really nervous about putting any sort of serious pressure on it. So I sort of jogged, got a feel for it, and it seemed to be okay. And as you run through the streets of Tenby, the daylight's popping up a little bit more, and it is just a fantastic atmosphere. I can't describe the atmosphere. It's just like I've been around fitness all my life. I've been around fitness competitions, swimming competitions, CrossFit competitions, and I've never felt anything like that before. It was just insane. And it was, you run through the streets of Tenby, and the streets are 4 or 5 deep crowds, and you kind of run through to your transition area. I think I spent 16 minutes in transition, which I was a bit, should I have done quicker? I don't know, but I thought I'd rather get myself settled in a good time than forget anything or have sand in my feet and that kind of stuff. So I sat down, took a towel, dried my feet off with a microfiber towel, had my energy drink and my electrolytes in that transition period, got myself set, put some socks on, and then went out to get the bike. Got on the bike. Obviously you have to go outside that little zone after you leave the bike zone, and you have to kind of mount your bike, and then you're away. So then it was just exciting. It was so exciting to get on the bike. Again, you feel like a rock star. You just feel like an absolute A-list rock star. That's the only way to describe it. You kind of come on your bike, and you kind of straight down there's a decent straight. You come down, you turn left, and then you come down this hill. And it's the whole way through that, the whole crowd is buzzing, and you're not really aware. You just hear a noise. I just hear a noise, and you've got a good 7 hours in front of you for me, and I was just excited. I was just really excited to get moving, get on the bike, and just move. Tenby's an incredible place, just the scenery. It's one of my favourite places, and I love the coast there and everything like that. So my plan was to do sub 7 hours. My bike was 7:14. And I averaged about just 25 kilometres an hour. So I was trying to go for 25. I've been averaging between 25 and 30 in here on the watt bike, and I'm a road bike. So this was a little bit kind of around that, a little bit slower than I'd like, but I'll take it because it was brutal. The course is incredible. It's, aside from being really hilly and being really difficult, there's no road that has, there was no road that didn't have a supporter on it. The whole of that 112 miles was brilliant. As hard as it was just every junction, every village, there's cars parked up, there's people outside their windows, playing guitars, drums, ghetto blasters, families cheering, kids with signs, people in fancy dress. It's just an incredible thing. You have to take part in it to really get a sense of it. I was blown away, and it made it so enjoyable. And a couple of the ones where, like the renowned hills like Heartbreak Hill, the first time I got to that, I'd only cycled a bit of the course back in May, and I hadn't done any of the major hills. The first bit's relatively flat. I'll come on to Heartbreak Hill in a second, but the first part of the course is relatively flat, and it's the bit you do once. And there's a couple of little bits in there which are, single file, you can't overtake. And it's just a case of just settling to a speed, just getting a bit of a rhythm, settling to a speed that you feel comfortable at, taking on drinks, taking on some energy and food, things like that. Everyone at the aid stations is brilliant. They're really encouraging and motivating. There's obviously plenty of hydration, plenty of food to go around. There's toilet stops and things like that as well. So brilliant. That first third is fine generally, and that's where I was doing my fastest times. I think it was 28 kilometers an hour. I think maybe 29 potentially. But then the second half of the course is where it kicks in. So anyone you find on YouTube or anyone that you speak to who's done it will probably say the same thing. That's the one you do 2 laps of is the tough one. Those are the big hills. We had horrendous weather the last 2 to 3 hours of that course. It was torrential rain. Obviously that makes it a little bit more weary going downhill. When you're going downhill, you're getting cold. So it's a case of obviously managing your pace when you're moving, like on a flat or up a hill, and getting warm. And just trying to stay, I suppose composed is maybe the right word. Just obviously making sure you're sticking to your hydration and your food. Definitely taking on enough food. I definitely planned my food well, which I was really pleased about. I was worried that I wasn't going to have enough, or I was going to be really, really hungry by halfway and need actual food. But I did all right. I was taking on about 120, 130 grams of carbs an hour with Morton shakes, gels and sweets and Mars bars and bits. I had a little top tube bag which I was carrying those in, and I had my bits in my tri suit as well. So the big hills are fantastic. They're uncomfortable, but enjoy it. Just soak it up and enjoy it. Everyone is pushing. Everyone's in the same boat as you. Everyone's struggling, and the Heartbreak Hill was one of my standout moments. There's a hill, I think just before that, I can't think what it is, but it's through almost like a woodland, and it's our main road going out of a village into like a dark sort of wood piece, and that was a hard hill. That was harder than some of the other ones I found. But Heartbreak Hill, you come down this, going into Heartbreak Hill, you come down this sort of like S shape where you cut through a town, you can build some speed up, and it's great. You can whip through there pretty quickly, and then the hill at Heartbreak Hill it just kicks. It's just a flat, and it just does this. So my plan was to get some speed up. Luckily on that first lap there was no one in front of me, so I thought I'm gonna push this. I'm gonna excite the crowd hopefully by seeing someone push. It's always nice to see that happen, but also just for my benefit. So I whizzed up. I sort of tried to sprint up there, and it was fantastic. Because of the crowd and the encouragement, you just don't feel discomfort. I didn't feel any lactic acid, didn't feel pain. I got past that sort of steep section, and I looked at my watch. It was like 170 heart rate. I was like, maybe I've gone a bit too quick on this one, but it came down. I just sort of sat in that, got my heart rate down a little bit, had a little drink after that, and then the next bit it kind of kicks again, so it goes up again, and that's a bit where they go through the housing, the main road, but the houses either side of it. My girlfriend was kind of halfway up that hill. Kylie was up that hill, and I heard her, and I turned around just as I passed her, so I don't think she saw me. But she got a nice video. But again, just having that encouragement up that hill was incredible. You come off that hill, there's a big roundabout, you turn left, and it's a big sweeping straight, slightly downhill, which is where you end up doing the marathon. So down that hill, again, you can build some speed up. There's people the whole way down that road, on both sides of the road, that are just cheering, and it's just an incredible. The second loop is taxing. It was for me anyway. So halfway round the bike, I stopped. I had 3 bottles of water, and then I was going to use those bottles and just top them up with water. The girls on the aid station just sort of said, just stop the bottles though. So I chucked those bottles, put my drink mixes, my next 3 drink mixes in my bottles, and then give them a shake, went to the toilet, got on my bike, and then I'm out again. So that was I don't know, maybe 5 to 8 minutes probably max. And then second loop of the bike, and that second half was tough. You start off on the road where you started on, and I could tell my pace was a little bit slower. But again, just try and stay consistent. We always tell the members in here about consistent pacing. Fitness rewards a pacer. Find that pace that you can just stay at. I didn't do that on the hill, but I was there once. I'm going to soak it up and enjoy it as well. So go through the bike again. That second half of the bike was really taxing just because of the weather. It was torrential rain, like I mentioned. People were having punctures, crashes. I saw a few people just on the side, just like changing tyres and things like that. So luckily, touch wood, I didn't have any issues. I had no niggles, no bike issues, no tyre issues. I just changed my tyres that week to a set of new tyres, so I'd only ridden them once. So I was a bit nervous about that, but they were decent tyres, so it all performed well as well. So that was good. It's just a long time in that position, that bent position where, especially on the drop bars for a little bit, I just get a little bit tight lower back. But just something to work on outside of the bike and just spend a bit more time doing it maybe. So my bike took 7 hours 14 and I finished the bike at 4:30. So back into the transition zone. One thing I did do was before I get onto that, at the aid station where I got all my refuel in, before that point I had about 50 minutes with no water. I missed time when I was going to get that my next lot of food and fuel, and I didn't stop at the aid station before that, so I wasn't stopping for the water, the electrolytes or anything like that, so I would potentially have a 4th bottle on me if I was doing it again, or I'd just grab electrolytes and water off the people that are on the aid station, just down it and then chuck the bottle. But yeah, it was because I wasn't getting any water or hydration on, I made sure that I was getting calories in, so I had a bag of sweets in my tricep. I was just taking handfuls whenever I felt thirsty, which I think then helped me on the first bit of the run. So second part of the bike done, and then getting into the run. So transition into the run, the second transition was just over 10 minutes, so 10 minutes 4. Again, my feet were tired, legs didn't feel too bad, legs felt pretty good, and I felt really fueled. I felt really good going into the run, maybe even a bit too much. I felt energized, didn't feel tired. It just my feet felt a bit achy and my legs felt a little bit achy, but nothing that, in my half Ironman was worse when I tried that out. But triceps already on, helmet off, kept my sunglasses on. I didn't have the run special needs bag, I chose not to do that. But I got 8 gels, put 4 in each of the side of my tri-suit. Changed my socks into a pair of dry socks, so my socks were soaking wet from all the rain. And then, changed my socks, dried my feet off, changed my socks, got my trainers on, and then out the door. And I did have, I had another 500 mils of fluid and a Morton drink mix with electrolytes. So I just topped the run up, I topped the bike up, and then I got onto the run. The run was by far the hardest of those 3 elements for me. I hadn't ran for 5 or 6 weeks before that because of my Achilles, and I was really worried about that. So I was told by a physio to not run until the day unless I felt really good previously on a few days, which I didn't. So it was a bit of a unknown, and I'd only done a half marathon. I think my longest one was 22 kilometres, so I hadn't done anything over 2 hours 15 really. So it was a bit of an unknown going into this. So my plan was just to keep moving. If I had to walk it, I had to walk it, which was the case. So my marathon time was 5:11, and my pace was 7:23 kilometers an hour. So slower than I'd like. I was trying to go for under 5. Just anything under 5 I would have been happy with, but I'll take 5:11. On the last lap of the bike, you come down after that heartbreak hill, you come off the roundabout and you just whiz down this hill, and it's like a slight straight, and you see people running up it and I think, oh shit, I've got to run up this hill. So that's the hardest part, is coming up the hill, or starting the run, and the course just feels long. The run course just feels long. the first 5 to 7k, whatever the distance is there, probably 5 or 6k is uphill, and it's just an uphill slog. And first lap, everyone's in feeling good spirits, but the last lap, on my last lap, everyone was walking. So I didn't feel bad walking, and those who were jogging were no quicker than those who were walking. So I just decided to walk. So the first half of the run was okay. I just didn't feel hungry. I just didn't want anything to eat. I kept having water and hydrate and electrolytes, but I just didn't fancy a gel. I just couldn't stomach a gel. So I think the first 45 minutes, my plan was to have a gel every half an hour. I had one the first hour, and then one the second hour. And I think by that point, I was probably a little bit too fatigued, and knew I needed to get some calories in, and I left it probably a bit too long. I also needed the toilet on that second lap. My plan was for each lap was to do about an hour, so 4 hours, obviously. But yeah, I was obviously a little bit slow on that, which is okay, because we'll come on to what happened. So second lap, I thought I need the toilet. I'm dying for the toilet, so I had to stop, do a number 2, and then that was 10 minutes. But it had been raining, so you're in this wet, dry tri-suit, trying to get yourself sorted, and then back on again, and that was just a bit of a faff. So yeah, that was my probably 11 minutes that would have got me under 5, which was a bit gutting. I also started to develop a pain in both joints between my shin and my foot. So the joint here, this bit like right in here, especially on this right leg, became incredibly painful. The only thing I could put it down to was having I couldn't quite flex my feet and point my feet, so it made running uphill and downhill quite painful. And I was on the second lap, so I tried to get through the second lap by just going, right, I'm going to do 8 minutes jog, 2 minutes walk on my watch. That turned into like a 5-minute jog, 5-minute walk, and then by the end I was just doing what I could. So my plan was, towards the end of the run, was just to jog the flats and jog the downhills as best as I could, and then walk the uphills. So I stuck with that a little bit. The last lap, I made sure I got in some sugars. So there were people giving out jelly babies and bananas and bits and pieces. I had the jelly babies, I had Coke, I had water, I had electrolytes, anything that would keep me hydrated and fueled. I just didn't want to stomach it. I just couldn't stomach a gel, and it was. I just knew I was lacking calories, and you burnt a lot in the day anyway. The last 5 minutes, when you're kind of coming through Tenby, again, I can only explain you've got your name on your bib number on the front, and anyone who's just around is just buzzing, and they're shouting your name, there's music blaring, and there's support out all night. So it's just amazing experience. And if the crowd aren't there, if the crowd wasn't there, it would have been 100 times more difficult. And it's the thing that kind of gets you through that course, especially on the bike and the run. Obviously on the swim you don't know, obviously, because you're in the sea. But yeah, everything on that run course is, as soon as you come into Tenby, especially in the evening where the bars are open and the people are drinking, they're a little bit rowdy, but you're running through the streets and there's people just like on the pavement, just watching you, cheering you, shouting your name. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that day. And then you kind of come into, I'll never forget that day. And you kind of come to, I came into the last 10 minutes, and my joint on my foot, especially this right leg, was pretty sore. But you get into the town, and you just, like the bike, you just don't feel discomfort, you don't feel pain. So I thought, right, I'm gonna push this last 5 minutes. So I thought, I knew my zone 4 heart rate was up to a run was about 174. So I thought, right, I'm gonna crank my heart rate up a little bit and just try and get through. And as I hit into the town on the flats, and you kind of zigzagging in and out the streets, I thought, right, I'm gonna pick it up and just go. Just make sure like I'm like heading in a good strong position to the finish lines, for again, one for the crowd, but also just so I know that I've put everything I can into this last bit of effort. What was great was to turn the last corner, and I was trying to overtaking people that were kind of walking and jogging, and as I turned the last corner, there was a lady who was like, "Fucking yes, Adam, go Adam, keep going, that's what we're talking about." And it gave me that bit of a push, just hearing that like as I went past. And then I thought I'd get to the red carpet bit, and I'll just sort of slow down, just sort of soak it up.
Well done, Adam! That's it! Yes, that's
So you can see my mom, my family, and my girl, and Carly, and her parents as well. Unfortunately, I couldn't see anything because I didn't have my glasses on. So I had sunglasses, but they were on the top of my head, obviously, because I couldn't see. So I had a little look around, but I couldn't see them, and I think they were past me. I'd gone past them. So I walked down the red carpet, and then my finishing time was 14 hours 8, 0.4. So I wanted to go under 15. So I'm chuffed with that under 15. You finish, you're gonna get your amazing medal with a little winner's jersey, little winner's shirt, which is really nice as well, really nice material. I've worn it a few times for training, which is really nice. Yeah, you go through and you can kind of chill out. They tell you not to sit down because I sat down and you don't want to get back up. But there's food, hot drinks, just an incredible day, an amazing day that I'll never forget, and I encourage anyone to give it a go. The training is the hard part. The day is like the celebration of what you've achieved, and anyone who goes into that event and finishes it for one, even if you don't finish it, you've done yourself proud, and I'm so proud of what I did. The first few days, I say, it took me a couple of weeks to recover. I'm still nursing a few little niggles, like a hip and the Achilles thing. Both of the joints are fine, but it took me a while to get back into the flow of things. There's definitely a come down as well. That 2 weeks post the event, it just feels a bit flat. I was just off. It just felt really off. But it was great talking to people about the event, people asking me about it, how I got on. People, bought me little thank you cards, so well done cards and bits and pieces, which is fantastic, which is something I didn't expect. But yeah, amazing day, amazing weekend, and just that whole almost of a year, incredible experience. My plan is to get my medal framed, along with some of the couple of photos potentially, and some other bits and pieces as well, like the swimming hat and things like that, which I know people tend to do. I don't want them just lying around. But yeah, it's a amazing experience. So hopefully you've enjoyed that little series. I'd like to do another one. My plan was I looked at the one this year for 2025. I looked at, should I do it again or should I do something different? I quite fancy some sprint ones though, something a bit different, that's not as time consuming with the training. But I do fancy giving that one a go again. And I was really initially pleased with my time, but as it's crept in, I think, maybe I could do better. Maybe I could go like 13 and a half maybe. So maybe we'll see what's coming, but that's for another video series, let's say. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the series, and if you've got any questions about it, feel free to drop a comment on any of the videos, or get in touch. We are Gusto Fit Hub, based in the Midlands. If there's anything I can help with regarding training or advice, let me know. I'd love to speak to you about it. If you're doing it, good luck. You'll have an amazing day, an amazing weekend, and best of luck.